Rick, a hard-working farmer, had spent his entire life tending to his land. One sunny morning, as he strolled through his fields, he stumbled upon an unusual sight, a gaping hole in the ground. Intrigued and a little apprehensive, he knelt down to get a closer look, wondering what could possibly be beneath his beloved farmland. Rick spotted a ladder and decided to go down, but when Rick found out what was hidden in the hole, he knew he should have never gone down there. Rick was breathing heavily as he descended the ladder. He had no idea what he would find, and he was even second-guessing if he should have gone down at all, but there was something inside him telling him he had to investigate. It's not like you find a big gaping hole in the ground every day that just appeared out of nowhere. He could hear his dog barking above him. If he could have taken her with him, he would have. But she is a big German shepherd, and he needed both of his hands to climb down. The sound of her barking slowly faded the further he climbed down. Suddenly, he paused. He should have told his wife about his whereabouts, but it was already too late now. He shrugged his shoulders and climbed all the way down. When he set both feet on the ground, he took a deep breath. It was pitch black around him, and in all the excitement from finding a strange hole, he had forgotten to run back to his house and grab a flashlight. All he had on him was his phone, which wasn't much, but the flashlight got the job done. He turned on his flashlight and felt his stomach drop. The hole was much bigger than it appeared from above. As he slowly began to walk around, he noticed more and more strange things about the hole. For instance, he saw two different holes in the wall, which looked like they were tunnels of some sort. Rick hesitated. Should he walk through them? He had no idea where the tunnels could lead him, and he had no map to guide him back if he were to get lost. It was a true dilemma, as Rick's curiosity was gnawing at him. He checked his phone's battery and saw it was at 50%. He decided to walk through the tunnel until his phone would be at 20% and then turn around. In his mind, this was the perfect compromise. This way he would see a small part of the tunnel but still have enough light to find his way back. So that was exactly what he did. Rick carefully stepped into the dark tunnel and began to walk. He couldn't see the end of the tunnel, and as he walked deeper and deeper, it got darker and darker. He now only had the light of his flashlight to guide him. Whenever he paused to listen to the sounds around him, he could hear his dog's barks echoing through the tunnel. Other than his dog's barking, it was eerily quiet in the tunnel. He could occasionally hear a droplet of water falling down, but that was about it. Suddenly, Rick's stomach dropped. He froze and listened to what he believed were footsteps coming his way. He held his breath as he waited for the sound to stop, but it was only getting closer and closer. He felt his body panicking, and he desperately sought a place to hide, but there were none. So, he pressed his body against the wall and hoped for the best. "Rick?" someone yelled. "Rick, where the hell are you?" Rick recognized that voice immediately. "Monica? What are you doing down here?" he yelled as his eyes were blinded by someone's flashlight. "I can ask you the same, dummy. I was worried sick." Rick smiled and hugged his wife. "Can you believe this place?" Monica smiled in return. "I'm just glad I walked into the right tunnel." Monica told Rick that she heard their dog, Lucy, barking like a lunatic, and when she didn't stop after a while, she came to see what was going on. That was when she saw the huge hole in the ground. "I immediately knew you went down there, you and your curiosity," Monica said, as she playfully pushed Rick. "I wanted to bring you some supplies." She handed over the flashlight and took off her backpack. "I brought you some sandwiches and water." Rick looked at his wife with loving eyes. "Why don't you come with me? We can explore these tunnels together," Rick excitedly said. Monica hesitated. She was a bit apprehensive, but she had to admit this was a mystery she too would like to solve. "All right, I'll come with you," she eventually said. "But you have to carry the backpack." She handed Rick the backpack, and he gladly put it on. "Okay, let's go. I feel a slight breeze, and I want to know where it's coming from." Together, they continued to walk through the tunnel for another 30 minutes. Finally, they saw a faint light. Rick picked up the pace, but as he came closer to the light, he slowed down again. "We're back at where we started," he said, his voice full of disappointment. Monica had to admit she was a little disappointed too, but this wasn't over yet. "Look, there's another tunnel," she said as she pointed behind a giant rock boulder. It looked like someone had tried to hide the tunnel, which piqued Rick's interest immediately. They walked over to the tunnel and crawled through a small open space next to the boulder. Once inside, they could stand again. This tunnel was a little slimmer than the other one, but other than that, it almost seemed like an exact copy. Without any hesitation, they began to walk through the tunnel again, grasping the flashlight tightly and staying as close as possible to each other. The last thing they wanted was to lose each other in these tunnels, especially since Monica had no flashlight of her own. They picked up the pace as they lost a lot of time walking through the other tunnel.